Hi, everybody. This is Dan and Chris. We are back with another episode of A Father's Love Healing Through Heartache. And we're excited this week to be talking about it's an old analogy I've heard many times about bank accounts and how when you're dealing with people, you do things that help the people, are kind to the people, and you kind of make deposits in their bank account. And that way, when things don't go well, when you have an argument or you say something wrong, you're making withdrawals from your bank account. And after talking last time about being alone and feeling alone and kind of going through this grief process alone, I thought it would be a good transition to talk about this bank account analogy. So, Chris and I are going to tackle that today, and we'll see where it goes. So, Chris, good to see you, my friend.
Dan, as always, glad to be with you, buddy. For those that are listening, I got to give Dan some kudos. I've been super busy during my week and then not feeling well a couple days, and Dan's really been kind of pushing back, holding, waiting for me to do another recording. So, Dan, thank you for being so flexible as always and understanding what I've been going through.
Well, I'm trying to make those deposits in your bank account, Chris.
Building them up.
Yep. Now it's something that Chris and I certainly have put many deposits in each other's account because we're so tightly connected on this journey that we're on. And we certainly understand when withdrawals need to be made. So, this topic hit me hard. Recently, we had Jameson's birthday, and it was very quiet this year. And it was painfully quiet this year because very few people reached out and acknowledged Jameson's day or acknowledged Erica and me, and it hurt. And I've had some talks with various people since then who have felt bad, which is understandable, but a few of them have mentioned I lean toward the side of not saying anything, and because they didn't want to add any more hurt to an already painful day. And that's something Chris and I discussed in season 1. So a lot of today, I think, is going to be reviewing that discussion about what to say and when to say it. But it's helped to hear my friends say, "No, Dan, we didn't forget. We just didn't want to hurt you." So, Chris, I'm curious. I'll let you kick it off from there. Have you? You're about a year and a half into this now. Uh, at this point in your journey, do you feel like enough people in your situation are reaching out to you, checking in on you, where they're still making those deposits and showing you that they care about you and that you're not walking alone?
Yeah, for me, so it feels kind of like 50-50, kind of like the situation you're in. There's people that still do reach out for sure, check on me, more family than friends. But there's definitely people that were there at the beginning that are no longer there now. And of course, it always hurts, in the sense that, I know we've talked about Jameson's always on your mind, Mason's always on my mind. For those of you going through grief, your loved ones are always on your mind. So to feel like people have forgotten about it, it makes it difficult. I think it's easy, especially in like the social media age, to see us post a picture and think, oh, they're doing okay, but we're not. It's not as easy as that. Yesterday we went to orchard, a local orchard here in Delaware, and we did some apple picking and did a corn maze and went out and let the boys kind of play in the kids area. And on the surface, if you see the pictures online, you probably think we're fine. And it was actually just emotionally draining for Amanda and I. In fact, we were going to go out to dinner as a family after, and we were so mentally done from that, we just came right home. And of course, Amanda wants people to see the boys having fun, and I appreciate that she does that. So she posts the pictures online, but it's easy to think that we're doing okay, but we're not in that sense. I had a horrible migraine. We were going to record last night, and I texted Dan. I'm like, I just can't do it. My head is done. So I sometimes wonder if for us, if I give off mixed messages in the sense that we show stuff like, hey, we're doing this or we're doing that. Every single event is still really hard. Um, People still do check on us in that sense, but it's not as much as it was before. Even though it's only been a year and a half, it still feels like literally yesterday for us, and probably for you too as well, Dan. Like, because it's still so close. So, Amanda and I, we've talked about it. It is difficult not getting, checked up on as often. I would say it's even worse for Amanda than it is for me. I think far even fewer people check on her, which is sad to me because she needs it too. Um, we're just kind of taking it day by day, Dan. You know how that is. So we're coming up on our second birthday without Mason in November. So I'm curious to see how it'll work out for us. Last year we threw a really big party back home in Buffalo for Mason, and we all went to his gravesite together, and then we threw a big party. This year we're not doing that. This year we're just going to stay here in Delaware, and I'm interested to see who reaches out, who doesn't, how it works out, and we'll go from there. But that bank account, like we've been talking about, this is where we're going to see who's building up and who's not.
Yeah, you mentioned something about mixed messages, which I struggle with a ton. Um, I know I put Facebook posts out there with trying to put the good things out there as well. We're going to talk later this season about how everything we do is still a fraction of our family. And as much fun as yesterday may have been for you, and we went apple picking with Reese and Erica's dad, had a great time, but it's still a fraction of our family. And no matter how much fun any event may be, it's still not a complete event. And it never will be. We post the pictures out there. I post them, I think, a lot more because I worry that people are getting sick of me being sad all the time. And I don't want to be a constant negative drain on people. So I'll post some of that positive thing. But what I want to post is that I'm still sad. I also post positive things because I don't want Reese to grow up and in 10 years, 20 years, look back at my Facebook account and see everything sad about Jameson and think that I didn't care about him, because I do. I love him tremendously. But it's hard. Every single thing is hard. So I worry about mixed messages that I'm sending to people, presenting a false front that we're doing okay, because we're not. We need people still 2.5 years into it, and we will need it forever. We need people checking in on us. We need people to talk about Jameson, share memories, and put those deposits into the bank account every day, not just birthdays, Father's Day, every holiday. Those are hard. They will always be hard. Again, happy Father's Day, happy birthday are words that I would love to never hear again, because they're not. But again, there's a mixed message, but I appreciate people saying them, because at least they're acknowledging the day and they're acknowledging Jameson when they say it. So Chris and I talked in season 1 about, I think we both agreed for us, we'd rather you err on the side of saying something than not saying something. So please do keep saying something on Father's Day, birthdays, holidays. If you think about it and can avoid Happy Father's Day, Happy Birthday, that would be even better. But err on the side of at least saying that, because at least you're recognizing that we're here and that Jameson and Mason were here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's such a weird feeling. Like, for me, it still feels like he should walk through the door any second. And I don't know if you feel the same way, Dan, like with Jameson. I still feel like Mason should be walking through the door any second. And for those of you going through grief, I wonder if you feel the same. If you have that feeling like, man, they should just still be here. So it's an odd feeling. There's times where all the boys are doing something and I actually forget that Mason has passed and he's not out there just doing something with his friends at the same time. It's an odd feeling to just always have that kind of gloomy sadness over you too when you do realize it, how it just kind of sinks into you so quickly. Because as the time has gone on, I've noticed that I don't think about Mason 24/7 like I did when he first passed. But man, as soon as I think about it, it's just like literally I have flashes of all the bad stuff. Flash, 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 flash. And it makes it so much harder. And it's harder because I don't want people to forget about Mason. And that's why I want people to bring him up. And when people never bring him up, it just makes it that much more difficult. I actually had a friend of mine say, hey, maybe your sadness is as strong as it is still because you are still constantly posting social media posts about losing him. And it made me think about it. It made me think like, hey man, maybe I am posting too much. I appreciate this person at least telling me, they were at least honest with me. Like, hey, first off, he said he want to make sure you're okay. Second off, maybe take a break from posting all the negative stuff. Just see if it makes you feel a little better. So I appreciated him doing that. And I have taken a little bit of break. I haven't been posting as much as I have in the past. I don't know. Am I posting stuff because I want people to hit the little button or say a little comment, make me feel better? What is my actual reason for doing it? Am I doing it because I want people to remember Mason? Am I doing it for both? I don't know. Social media has that weird thing, changes our brain, I think, a little bit more than we realize. And yeah, I just don't want people to forget about my son, really, at the end of the day. And is social media helping me or is it hurting me? I don't know. Dan, how do you think it's helped? How has it affected you?
Yeah, if I don't get that right number of likes or hearts or the care emoji, it hurts. But then again, what's that right number? And there is no right number. The right number is, for me, I have 1,000 something friends on Facebook. So unless I get 1,000 something likes and hearts, it's a letdown and it hurts. And so again, there's never going to be a winning situation where it's enough. But I look at the people who comment or like, and they're putting deposits in the bank account where, hey, at least they acknowledge that we're here and that Jameson's not here and we're still hurting. So I appreciate that. There is definitely something to be said about the negativity, breeding more negativity. But again, it's our sons. You don't get over that. Period. It, like you just said, I don't think about Jameson nearly as much as I used to. But then when I do think about it, I'm like, oh God, what kind of a crappy father am I that I'm not thinking of Jameson all the time? So it's that constant battle that we've talked about so many times, that we want to heal, we want to be happy, but we, for grieving people, if you heal, there's the impression that you're forgetting your loved one, and that's not acceptable either.
Yeah, it's a hard dilemma that we fight with in our mind for sure. Speaking with the bank accounts, I think about when Mason first passed and all the you think about what you've done. All right, so think about you if you're the one that's going through the grief, or if you're one of those people that might be listening and you haven't dealt with grief yet, and you're just learning how to help other people deal with grief. You want to start, like Dan said, building up those deposits, making sure you're a good I mean, really, this comes down to being a good person, right? Helping people out, taking care of them, not being selfish. When when Mason passed away, I felt like I felt really good in the sense that I must have had a good bank account going because so many people came to my help, right? Had tons of people donate money. Um, and really, the money aspect was a huge aspect because I didn't have to worry about anything for the funeral. And that was a big stressor of mine right off the bat. We had some savings, but I didn't have that kind of savings, ready to go for that situation. So I felt like, okay, I must have had my bank account built up pretty good where these people cared enough about me, and we hadn't, I was good enough to them, or Amanda was, and they made that donation. Or they've come to our help with food or cleaning or taking care of us, taking care of the boys, whatever it may be. Um, so if you're one of those people and you're not sure how you can help, really, like Dan said, building that up. I know Dan has said it in the past before, right? Don't say, I'm here if you need something. Don't do it. You're better off just going and doing something for them because they're not going to ask. None of us are going to ask for that help. Very rare in my short time with this grief that I've gone to someone and say, hey, I actually need help with this. I can't actually think of one thing, to be honest with you. But when people came up and just did something for me, boy, did that feel good. That take a load off my shoulders. So if you're looking for something, that just go, like Dan said before, if there's something you're really good at, go do it. If there's something you can help with, go help with it. Don't wait for or don't say, well, I'm here, whatever you need, just let me know. Go do it. Building up the bank account, that's the best way.
Yeah, I've seen. We have some decent friends here in Brevard that the wife has posted a couple things this week on social media, of course. Um, but it's from an author that she follows, and it's totally hitting head on what I've been talking about on my social media for the last couple months. Of it goes back to actions speak louder than words, and but we like the words, but they need to be real words. Where again, it gets into Christian cliches and how useless they are, sometimes inappropriate, and many times much more hurtful. But it gets into basically being what Chris just said, a good person. And I picked up on Chris used the words good person, not good friend. You do not have to be a good friend to help people who are hurting. And again, this covers whether it's grief, alcoholism, finances, job, whatever, any kind of pain. People in this world are hurting, and people in this world need to know that they're cared about. And we we hope that our friends step up because you're our friends, you're supposed to care about us. But again, it's just being a good person, just being a good human being to step up and help others. And it has, this whole thing has made me think very much about, have I been a good friend over the years? And I can give a whole list of people that no, I have not been a good friend. And I absolutely hate any discussion that goes into good things that have come from Jameson's death. Because how in the world has anything good come from Jameson's death? I mean, we lost our son. That's not good. But there have been some things, I think, that have come from Jameson's death that are positive. One of them is my awareness of how selfish I have been my whole life. And yeah, what a terrible friend I've been to so many people. So it's opened my eyes, and I hope that I'm doing better, being just a better person. Again, not just a good friend, but a better person trying to help whoever needs it. Uh, so just that's I think that's one of the main things I want people to think about, that we live in a terribly broken, hurting world, and we just need millions of people to step up and be a good friend. Or there I go, I did it. To be a good person to people when they need it.
Yeah, and I think that's easy to say, like you said, Dan. Like, think about, have I really been that good friend all the time, or that good person? As I sit here and think about, have I been a good person or friend all the time? Uh, I probably could have been better in a lot of aspects as I think about it more now. Um, but the most important thing is that we're recognizing it and we're taking that time now. We can't change the past,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can't go back. We're never going to change it. We can change the future, though. We can make that positive aspect going forward. You're already doing it 100% with Jameson's Joy and how many people you're helping with that organization. And I hope I can get to that level. I hope we get there. I think you're making the right steps, though, just so you know, from an outside perspective looking at you, bud.
Thanks. Yeah, I like what you just said too. Like, we can't change the past. And I can't go back and be a better friend. I can't be a better person in my past, but I can start right now. And that's one of the main messages I want to get out tonight to everybody that listens, is that, yeah, you can't change your past either, but you can start right now. You can make a difference. One of my buddies, a couple weeks ago, in a group that we have together, he made a statement that has just, or asked a question that just really has stuck with me for those couple weeks of, if we look at everybody that we come in contact with every day, and instead of walking by them, ignoring them, judging them, whatever it is, what if we looked at every single person that we have put in our path every single day and thought, why has that person been put in my path? And that just hit me, of, because it covers everybody I like, but it also covers everybody who bugs me and everybody I don't know and everybody I judge. Where, why is that person right there being put in my path? What can I do for that person right now that may help them? And a lot of times it may be get out of their way because they're running late to a meeting or whatever. But at least being aware that there's a lot of opportunity out there for us to make some deposits in some random strangers and people that we know very well, and just help them with something. Take something off their plate. It may be an encouraging word. It might be a task that we can do. Who knows? But it's something to think about.
Yeah, that's wow. I never thought about that. And it's going to make me think every time now as I walk by somebody, instead of looking down, hey, maybe I just need to say that hello. Give that person a warm welcome and maybe brighten their day because they might be having that bad day. That is a pretty deep question I'd never thought about before. So very, very interesting concept for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of dumbfounded after that one. You hit me with that hard, Dan.
Oh, I've been marinating on it for, I think, 3 weeks now. But I mean, I had a colleague, I think it was Friday afternoon. I walked by, she was outside on the phone. and you could just tell that she was upset and no idea what was going on. But it was just obvious. If you have eyes and ears, you could tell that whatever it is not good. And then she walked by me in the hall a few minutes later, and I just was like, "Hey, I'm I'm thinking about you. If there's anything I can do to help you, I don't know your situation." And I gave her a hug and just said, "I care about you, whatever it is. Something's bugging you, and if 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 you need me for something, I'm here." And I hope that that helped. Again, I hate saying, "Let me know what I can do to help," but I don't want to pry into anything personal that may be going on with her. But I hope she walked away knowing that, hey, yeah, somebody at least cares.
Oh, I bet she did for sure. I have a friend of mine who I knew when I first joined the military. We were at our first duty station together, and he was a really good guy. He even stood up in my wedding. That's how close of friends we were. We were really close. And I went to my next base, and he got out of the Air Force, and I went on a deployment overseas. And after I went on that deployment, when I came back, his phone number was disconnected. I couldn't get a hold of him anymore. And I was like, man, what is going on with this? And um, I just searched on social media. I remembered him telling me what his mom's name was. So I added her as a friend on Facebook, and I tried messaging her a couple times. She never responded back. It wasn't until last year she finally messaged me back, and it just so happens, unfortunately, my good friend ended up going to prison, got in some trouble, and he got out. And we talked. We actually talked on the phone a couple times after he had gotten out, and I was just trying to give him some words of encouragement and tell him, I was proud of him, and he just kept kind of going back to that past, right? He just kept thinking about how he had messed up, and we were actually on the phone. He's like, "Hey, can I call you back? I got to do something real quick." And I wish I would have pushed harder at that moment, because I think if I would have, I don't know if anything would have changed or not, but I kind of regret that moment because now he's back in jail, and um, yeah, I don't know. That's just been kind of eating at me as I think about us, taking care of people and checking in on them. I was doing my best, but could I have done more? I don't know. You want to make sure. I guess my point is, you want to make sure when you go into something, you put your whole heart into it. You don't want to, you know, not put that effort in, and then you have that feeling like, yeah, man, if I would have did something a little bit different, I could have helped them a little bit more, made that difference. Especially Dan, I know you've talked a lot about lately uh, some of the teenagers that recently
Mm-hmm.
committed suicide by you, and man, if somebody would have just checked on them and maybe just, hey, I'm here for you, and they felt like they weren't alone. Because I don't know for sure. I've never met a family of someone that's lost someone from suicide, but I've heard often that a lot of times in letters and stuff, they state how alone they feel and how something's just eating them up. And so if you're gonna go help someone, make sure you put that full effort in and try and help them. Don't half-ass it, I guess, is what I'm trying to get
Mm-hmm.
at in a not so mean sense.
Yeah, and I think it goes right back to, again, that we don't always know the right answers, we don't know the right words, but at least just letting people know that you're there and you care. It, at least for Chris and me, it's better to err on that side than nothing at all. And yeah, God forbid it's something like a suicide where, yeah, then there is no going back on that one. So I want people to really think about how they can how we can all step out of our world and look after other people. We we all need to be carried at some point, and if you're in a point in your life right at this moment where you can carry somebody else, then go find somebody to carry. And then hopefully tomorrow when you need to be carried, they'll return the favor, or somebody else will step up and return the favor and carry you. And together, we can make a big difference on a daily basis, even an hourly and a minute basis, to just help people navigate this life that we're all living.
Yeah, and if you're, if you're like Dan and I, we wanted to help people. That's why we started this podcast. Yes, it's for us, but we're helping somebody. We're hoping somebody's listening out there, and we're making them feel a little better. At least know they're not alone through this, through this grief story that they might be living. And if you're going through that grief story, think about what you could do. I mean, if you feel comfortable, maybe you can help another grieving dad or a grieving mom. Reaching out. There's a lot of social media groups. There's the Compassionate Friends. There's a lot of hospice groups for grief. Find out what's in your local area. See how you can help out. See how you can take your tragedy and help someone who's just learning to deal with the grief. Okay, so Dan's 2.5 years in. I'm 1.5 years in. As the years go on, I hope I will continue to get stronger at relaying the grief story and helping people. I think Dan has the same kind of mission. He wants to be able to help people as time goes on. And I challenge all of you that are listening to see what you can do to make this place better. How can you help? Who can you help? Don't be afraid to, change is uncomfortable. In the change, I'm saying it's going to be uncomfortable, right? You're talking about your grief and what you're going through. I can promise you, though, and Dan can probably attest to this, as I've talked more and more about Mason's loss, it's, it never takes the hurt away, but I can tell Mason's whole story now and I don't cry. I can accurately portray everything that happened from beginning to end, and I can keep my head on straight. And then I can talk about the months now after, and the first 6 months, and the first full year. And eventually I'll get to that 5-year point and that 10-year point. And I'm going to keep building that message of how I can help other people that are dealing with grief.
Yeah, I still can't do it necessarily without tears, but I can do it. And yeah, it's always going to hurt, whether there's tears,
for sure.
Whether there's tears or not. It's going to hurt.
Yeah, don't. I hope I'm not portraying that, because it hurts when I'm saying it. I can control the tears, though. I can keep them in. And a lot of times it's because I want people to know. I want people to know about Mason, right? I don't want. We've talked about this numerous times, right? How many kids you have? What do you say? I say I got 4. Hey, well, I only see 3. Where's your other one? Oh, I have to tell the story. All right, and I'm going to tell the story, and that's okay. It's going to be hard forever, but how can we get to that point of being a better person and helping people? How can we be a good person and help people, not let them feel alone? Because none of us like this feeling of aloneness after losing our loved ones.
Yeah. So I guess, Chris, let's again, from your perspective and my perspective, and we by no means can speak for everybody going through grief because everybody's different. That's a conversation that would be really good for you to have with whoever you know that's going through grief. And again, whether it's a child, a parent, whoever. But from Chris and my perspective, let's tie a nice little bow on it of how we prefer people to interact with us. Do you want on holidays and birthdays? Do you want people to reach out to you, Chris, or do you want them to be quiet because it's too painful?
No, I think I'm always going to want the reach out. Like I want people to remember Mason. So it doesn't matter, birthday, holiday, Father's Day, I'm thinking of you. I know this is hard. Those kinds of things, they're always going to mean something. They're always going to matter. They're going to let me know I'm not alone. And let Amanda, she's not alone. This isn't just for us too. It's our spouses too. They're going through a lot as well. Or even our children, our grieving children. we've said it before and I'll say it again. Our lives are totally new. It's like starting a brand new life once your child is lost. And, people reaching out and showing that they care and makes such a difference to the grieving process and the healing, and just knowing I'm not alone, knowing I can make it through another day because someone's there if I need it. So for me, that's what I need. How about you, Dan?
Yep, I agree. And one of the things that I have a couple friends that are real good. One of the best things for me to hear is, hey, I know this sucks. Yes, it does. You're acknowledging Jameson and you're acknowledging our pain. And you're not giving any fake, false platitudes, Christian cliches, any of that stuff. You're just acknowledging that, yeah, life sucks, but I'm here. I'm still here. Because for me, and I know for Erica, being on that island alone sucks more than anything except for actually losing Jameson. We want people with us. And so, yeah, it does suck. You're right. Thanks for saying that. And when you say it to us, if we say it back and you're like, you don't like kind of get standoffish and shocked that we would say it, that's even better.
Yeah, and I think, the simple just saying, I know it sucks and I'm right next to you. You don't even have to say, I'm here for you. I'm going to do anything for you. Just say, I'm next to you. I'm standing next to you, whether in spirit or, however, right?
Yep.
Just that I know, hey, I know I'm not alone. I can reach out to this person for whatever I need.
Right.
That really helps out a lot.
Let's I know for me, I have one colleague who's been phenomenal for the full 2.5 years, and it's every week or every other week. She will either say something about Jameson or ask about something, or just simply, hey, what can I do at work to help you out? Again, that's something Chris and I have talked about, just taking things off our plates, where my my brain is still not healed from the trauma. Again, I don't know if it's PTSD. I don't know enough about that, and I don't want to. I feel like if I say I have PTSD, if I'm wrong, I feel like I'm being disrespectful to soldiers and people who do have it. Um, it sure seems like PTSD to me, but I don't want to disrespect or minimize what like soldiers have gone through. But
I'm gonna stop you real quick. You got PTSD, buddy. I know you do.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So you're fine. You're okay to say it. For those who don't know, I'm in the military. I can say this. In my opinion, I think you got it. I think I got it, and it's totally normal to say it. Soldiers aren't the only ones. People in the military aren't the only ones that go through PTSD.
Okay.
There's lots of different types of PTSD, and we're going through it. Just so I can. Sorry to interrupt you.
I appreciate that. But I know that my mind is not working correctly. I still have a terrible memory for little things and tasks as I go through work. Like, you give me a date of a meeting or something, if it's not on my calendar, I will forget. This colleague is still 2.5 years later phenomenal about, hey, remember we have this, or sharing things. And I go to her usually 2 or 3 times a week. Hey, I know that you've told me this or you've shared this with me, but where is that document, whatever? And she'll share it with me. She doesn't judge me. She doesn't get annoyed, or at least she doesn't show me that she's annoyed. She just openly shares it, and that is so helpful. And she didn't acknowledge Jameson on his birthday, but she came to me a few days after it when I was discussing it with again via Facebook, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I should have been a better friend." And I'm like, "No, she's one. She has built so much of a bank account with me that her forgetting didn't hurt me." And it's one of those things that if a couple more people had reached out, I don't know what that right number is, but a few more people reaching out would have covered everybody else. So again, that's why it's one of the reasons why it's so important for you to reach out if you think about it, because just having a few people on every day reach out can cover everybody else. And again, these three reach out on Monday, these three say something on Tuesday, and if everybody works together and checks in on those people who are hurting, we can get them through every day, because just naturally different people are going to carry you on different days, and we won't feel like we're alone.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Man, as I think about it now, I think it's been harder for me. Um, I think because I moved right away. I think a lot of the people that knew Mason and me, whether it be in Alaska or Idaho, uh, I'm not stationed with them anymore. So everybody I've met here since Mason has already been passed. So they didn't see the grief and struggle at the beginning. They didn't see the sadness. Um, People still check on us, not as much as I would like. Uh, yeah, I don't have a good answer for it. I hope as time goes on, people will realize how important it is. We're going to keep kind of pushing our mission with ADEM and getting the word out there. But even this year with the Miles for Mason event, it was smaller than it was the first year, right? And I get nervous as the years go on how much it'll probably dwindle a little more, right? As people forget with time. So it is a hard pill to swallow for sure. Um, we just got to keep pushing forward and trying to be good people and making the best difference we can.
Yeah, the one of my sisters, I have three sisters, and one of them, she blew me away a few weeks ago. She sent me a note and she told me that she had purchased one of Chris's ADEM shirts. And I had no clue. And so I asked her about it, and she's like, well, I listened to your podcast, which that alone makes me feel good that somebody's listening. Somebody cares enough to listen to what Chris and I are doing and see if we can, maybe we help her along the way, walk alongside somebody else who's grieving. But at the very least, she cares enough to devote 45 minutes or an hour every time we post an episode and listens. But she told me, I bought the shirt because I know this guy's voice. I've seen his face on the videos, and I just I know it's important to you, Dan, and I know it's important to him. And I'm like, wow. I mean, and that was major deposit right there. And I feel pretty comfortable saying this for Chris, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong. That made him feel awesome that some girl he's never met bought the t-shirt. And she didn't do the 5K walk. She just openly admits, and I don't remember her words, but she said she walked what she could. And the 5K, I imagine, is not at all important. It's the fact that somebody walked in honor of Mason, and it was a complete stranger that did it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, I felt when you texted me that, dude, my heart just exploded with joy. To be honest with you, it means a lot. It does mean a lot. Every single one of those shirt orders, or just like for you, Dan, your guys' event, the more people that come, it just shows that people care, and it means a lot. So, thank you to her again. Truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart and my family's heart, we really appreciate it. It's going to help. Hopefully, if I ever find a lawyer, as I continue the search, get this organization set up, and it means the world to me to know that people do care, even if it shows there's still good people out there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
She's never met me before, but man, it means a lot, and I truly do appreciate it.
Yep. And I do. Every time I see a Jameson's Joy shirt, it 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 helps a lot. It's a stupid T-shirt, but it makes all the difference in the world. I had a girl come up to me on Friday. She came in to school in the morning and she flashed open her coat and was holding out her shirt that she had from a fundraiser we did 2 years ago at school. And I'm like, hey, thanks for wearing that and thanks for sharing because it warms my heart. And that girl helped carry me through that day. And she was 8 years old. Guys, if kids can do this, adults, we can do this. Uh, let's carry people through the day. Open up our eyes and our ears and see where people are hurting and let them know that they're not walking alone, whether you know them or not.
Yep, 100%. And I think a good first step really is, getting yourself out there and finding it, whether it be a grief group, or just volunteer work, anything really. You could find anything to go out there and help make this world a little better. And you'll be surprised actually with your grief healing, um, helping someone else out, how much better that actually makes you feel in your giant moments of grief and sadness. I know it's helped me a lot as I've helped others. And I have no doubt in my mind that if you put the effort in to help someone, even though you're sad, even though it seems like you can't even get out of bed, even though you just want to curl up on a ball on the couch and eat nonstop, or whatever it is that you do in those moments of grief, because we've all been through it. I've been through it. Dan's been through it. We understand. Try your best to just get out there. It doesn't even have to be something big. It could be something really small, and you build on it, and you build on it, and you build on it. Start off small, just saying hi to somebody, right? Go from there. Okay, I said hi. Awesome. Let's have a little conversation with someone. Be super nice. Try and make them feel better. And keep building. Man, you're going to feel so much better. I promise you. And you're making the world better. That's the most important. You could be helping that person more than you actually realize. So give that a whirl. Give it a shot.
Yeah, Chris and I know that a lot of our listeners are fellow grieving dads, because we're obviously tightly connected. One of the things that I constantly say with one of my buddies is, was today less sucky than yesterday? This sucks, and it always will. But what can you do right now to make it suck just 1 ounce less than it did 5 minutes ago and yesterday? And it's depending on how fresh you are on this journey, grieving dads, grieving parents, grieving everybody. It might literally be getting out of bed. It might literally be taking a shower, going to eat, whatever. Chris and I have been there. Um, but try to make this moment suck less than the last moment did, whatever that is for you. And Chris and I are here for you. You can reach out to us. We will listen, and we'll do whatever we can to. We don't have a lot of strength to carry you, but the strength we do have, we'll do our best to carry you through this sucky moment.
Yep. That's all we can do. We got to look out for each other. So yeah, digging deep, build up those bank accounts, people. If you're listening, be a good person, help out the world.
Yeah,
You'd be surprised how much better you're going to feel just by doing that.
absolutely. That's our challenge. That's our message for today. Go build those bank accounts. Every opportunity you get with every person you come across presents an opportunity to perhaps literally save a life. So let's all do better.
I agree. Dan, you got anything else?
I think we've covered it hopefully pretty well.
Yeah, I think it was good. I enjoyed this talk today. You gave me some things to really chew on in my mind, and I'm gonna I'm going to leave this episode myself thinking about what can I do a little bit better, to be honest with you. So I'm glad we're having this talk.
All right. Well, as always, to everybody who's listening, thank you for listening. We hope that we're making at least a little difference for somebody out there. We always welcome your feedback. We always welcome your questions. And we always welcome if you want to come on the show. It doesn't matter if you're grieving or not grieving. We welcome guests. We'd love to have some people who are not grieving come on here and just shoot questions at us. What do you do in this situation? So if that's you, if you're comfortable talking to us, please reach out. You can contact us through Facebook, Miles for Mason, Jameson's Joy. You can contact us through our emails and phone numbers, whatever. Just reach out to us if we can help you or if you want to join us in any way. And until next time, we wish everybody the best, and we challenge you to go make somebody's life a little less sucky. So until next time on A Father's Love, Healing Through Heartache.